these woke green protesters are really getting out of hand. It used to be that they would just chain themselves to a door or a construction site and that was that. But that doesn't get enough attention anymore, so now they're throwing soup at precious works of art and supergluing themselves in weird places with equally insane demands, all while never pausing to think what would happen if someone just left them there.
Kish! Where do we pee-pee?
Hey there, Liberty fam, and welcome back to the channel. I'll tell ya, nothing says entitlement quite like gluing yourself to the floor of a business and then complaining when that business doesn't bring you a piss bucket. But that's how the world rolls today, and hey, at least it provides good meme fodder. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's video, shout out to Valley Food Storage for being a supporter. I am a huge fan of Valley as they provide affordable emergency food that is clean, chemical-free, and non-GMO, and they have options beyond your standard carb-heavy meal kits. Right now, their 7-day emergency kit is $50 off, and you can get 10% off your first order with code HELLO10. Use my link down in the description to hedge against rising food prices and help the channel. The best part about this whole story, I mean, besides the obvious and awkward situation of them being forced to protest in their own excrement because they can't plan properly,
with your toilet potty poo-poo mouth humor,
is that the left is famous for saying there are limits to rights like protesting or free speech or the Second Amendment, but then apparently claim it's a violation of their right to protest when the people you're protesting don't provide you a poop bucket. Bring your own poop bucket, moron! And these people claim to be highly intellectual scientists.
Specialty, common sense.
This situation unfolded in Germany as the international group says that Germany has the biggest sway over the auto industry, but this whole rid the world of carbon and fossil fuels, even if it kills people, viewpoint is a sickness across all of the Western world. I mean, just look at those people at the Huffington Post who have been claiming nuclear war would help reverse climate change for the last 10 years. Experimental economist Gianluca Grimaldi recorded the whole sordid tale on Twitter as he and 8 other members of a group calling themselves Scientist Rebellion glued themselves to a Porsche showroom floor in the Volkswagen museum that's part of one of the factories. He stated some of them were also on hunger strike in addition to being glued, which makes sense because otherwise they were apparently relying on museum employees to bring them their DoorDash orders.
I feel sorry for people without willpower.
Grimaldi said he and the others would remain glued to the floor until Volkswagen agreed to decarbonize the transport sector and rid their cars of evil fossil fuels. They also apparently glued protest signs directly to the cars in the museum. In return, Volkswagen was totally based and said, "Sure man, you can protest all you want. Go you, my dudes." And then shut off the lights, and the heat, and left for the day. 6 other members of the protest group showed up, but no one knew what to do with themselves because Volkswagen refused to give them bedpans or buckets, so the group was unable to, quote, urinate and defecate in a decent manner.
I need the toilet!
No, Megan. No! No! Look away! Megan, no! Look away!
I mean, if you're not willing to crap your pants for a cause, do you really even care? Then he complained that the building was dark, but then also complained that security came and checked on them periodically with flashlights. What's more, he tried to claim that non-glued supporters weren't being let out and were trapped in the building, but then had to issue a retraction that no, in fact, the unglued protesters could leave anytime, but security wouldn't let them back in the building. So, oh no, they weren't able to order outside food and instead had to use the vending machines inside or the meals that Volkswagen so generously supplied them during business hours. You're out here crapping for climate change and didn't even bring snacks? Are you actually on a hunger strike or trying to order a pizza? And I'm sure Domino's delivery is really cornering that electric vehicle market. Grimaldi also posted a link to a list of demands signed by all kinds of academics from Paris to University of Pennsylvania. Their demands are full decarbonization, full degrowth paid for completely by the rich, and full taxation of the 1%. Okay, so far, communism. Their demands are communism. They also want Germany to admit they're not hitting climate targets and want the richer countries of the world to cancel all the debt of the third world, which will somehow make the third world countries stop using fossil fuels and go green, despite not having the technology to do so. Because no one does. They also want cheap public transport and a 62-mile-per-hour national speed limit in Germany. They say they will stay glued to that floor until Volkswagen, not even Germany, Volkswagen, agrees to eventually do these things and lobby the government on the group's behalf. So lobby on our behalf to upend your entire industry or leave us glued to the floor. You know, that really doesn't seem like that difficult of a choice.
Gonna clean up some pee-pee, cleaning up the pee-pee.
They also claim that all of these demands, if enacted, won't cause any economic disruptions, no change in quality of life, and no changes to things like food pricing. I've covered groups with demands like this before, except they at least had the decency to quote studies showing that life as we know it would be completely destroyed, and we'd all have to go into some kind of third world living without adequate electricity and heat. Apparently, the group plans to have similar sit-ins in other countries, including the US. Maybe the folks on this side of the pond will learn their lesson and at least bring themselves a bedpan. Or maybe bedpans are really just cultural appropriation or some other kind of woke ridiculousness. Grimaldi himself left his post after only 24 hours due to a swollen hand. He was transferred to a hospital for blood clots, but has vowed to continue his hunger strike. After 42 hours, the other protesters again made demands to speak with the Volkswagen CEO. Instead, the group got to talk to the police and were arrested.
Okay, this is not a negotiation. This is a rejection.
That is it for this video, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're new here. Drop a comment down below and use your bathroom just because you can. Order a pizza, check out the support options down in the description, and as always, thanks for tuning in and I'll see you on the next one.